Anita Needy, the main character, who is admitted to a psychiatric hospital, is first presented to us in the opening scene. She seemed to be a dangerous patient, which is made clearer yet when she suddenly strikes a nurse. Anita is punished by being placed in a dark cell, where she spends the time telling the story of her previous existence. The narrative then jumps to a past and transports us to Devil's Kettle, a little settlement named after a sinister waterfall. The water pours into a deep hole for some reason and never emerges. Even experts are perplexed by this phenomena since no one can predict where it goes. Then Anita introduces us to Jennifer, who is, in contrast to herself, a popular and gorgeous cheerleader at their institution. The two enjoy one another's company despite having almost little in common. Anita has a boyfriend named Chip as well, although she cares more for her best friend than her boyfriend. Anita is invited by Jennifer to a small dive bar one particular evening where an indie rock band called Low Shoulder would be playing. When they arrive, Jennifer is intrigued to Nicholas, the main performer, and she approaches him. After some further conversation between the two, Jennifer is told to go grab a drink. While she is gone, Nicholas talks to his bandmates about Jennifer's virginity and claims that she is ideal for their project. Overhearing their chat makes Anita feel strange, and she later confides in her best friend about it. Jennifer doesn't focus much on it though. Soon after that, the band begins playing, and everyone starts to have fun. However, a fire breaks out suddenly in the bar due to an electrical short circuit and spreads quickly. As people rush to save their lives, chaos breaks out. The two buddies manage to flee through a bathroom window during the chaos. Unexpectedly, the band members are already outside, acting casually as if nothing had occurred. After some time of conversation, Nicholas unexpectedly invites Jennifer to join them. Anita finds the entire situation creepy, but Jennifer readily agrees. Even worse, she drives the guy's van while ignoring her closest buddy. After they leave, Anita goes back to her house and calls her lover right away to tell him everything that happened. Anita's worry grows as she is startled by the doorbell in the middle of their chat. She opens the door after cautiously making her way downstairs, but nobody is there. She goes back to her room feeling uneasy but hears sounds coming from the kitchen. When Anita arrives to look into the matter, she discovers Jennifer totally covered in blood. She gives out an evil smile to make this situation more creepier. Then Jennifer opens the refrigerator and begins to eat raw chicken. She suddenly lets out an ear-piercing scream and vomits a trail of a black liquid. She seems to be under the influence of some type of devilry. Anita tries to call for assistance since the situation is too much for her to bear, but Jennifer immediately pushes her against the wall. She then positions herself to bite Anita's neck, but something suddenly compels her to flee the scene. Anita seems upset and unwilling to move on from what happened the previous night when she arrives at school the next morning. She worries about her closest friend as well, but to Anita's astonishment, Jennifer shows up fully fine and downplays her worries. Soon after, their lecturer expresses sympathy for those who died in the bar accident the previous evening. The news has everyone inconsolable, but Jennifer shows no emotion and even makes fun of the circumstance. Anita is perplexed and questions what is happening with her closest buddy. She is aware that the Low Shoulder band is a factor in her actions. Anita later finds Chip and tells him everything about Jennifer, including how nasty she looked the day before. On the other side, Jennifer approaches Jonas, the captain of the university's football team, who is lamenting the passing of his closest buddy. He apparently passed away in the fire event as well. Jennifer comforts him as she takes him to the woodland behind the campus. Once there, she starts to woo him as a number of strange birds and creatures unexpectedly encircle them. When Jonas is ready to ask more, Jennifer changes into her demonic form and violently dismembers him before killing him. A college professor hears his horrifying screams and runs to the site where he discovers his dismembered corpse. Anita and Jennifer spoke on the phone later in the evening. Jennifer implores Anita to move on, emphasizing that life is too short for these things, even if she is still troubled by the occurrence. Jennifer purposely uses a lighter to burn her tongue during their talk, but she sustains no injuries. When her boyfriend unexpectedly calls Anita at that very moment to warn her of Jonas's death, Anita becomes even more concerned. Meanwhile, Low Shoulder becomes quite well known as a result of untrue claims that they helped many people escape the fire. The band receives tens of thousands of concert requests, and their charity performance at the nearby school is ultimately confirmed. The picture then jumps to 1 month later. The neighborhood residents, including Anita, may now smile once more and put the awful tragedy behind them. But Jennifer seems exhausted, drained, and ill. She and Anita are strolling down the corridor one day after class when Colin, a student, asks her out. Unexpectedly, Jennifer agrees to the request and texts the man her address to invite him over. Later that evening, when Anita and Chip share a private moment, Colin eagerly travels to the destination that Jennifer has specified. When Colin gets there, he discovers that the neighborhood is vacant and the home is still being built. In spite of this, he goes inside and meets Jennifer, who briefly surprises him from behind. She kisses him and starts to entice him right away. The first few minutes pass without incident, and the poor youngster has a great time. Then, though, he catches a startling shift in Jennifer's eye. There, Colin tries to flee, but the terrible girl changes into her monster shape once more and savagely murders him. She is so cruel that she even swallows his blood. Anita, who is in the midst of a romance, suddenly begins having hallucinations. Blood is streaming from the ceiling, and she sees Jonas' ghost on the couch. She is terrified by this unpleasant event, so she leaves Chip's house quickly and leaves. Her fears are far from ended though, as she nearly runs over Jennifer, who is covered in blood. Anita hurries back home and locks herself in her bedroom out of terror. She settles into bed, attempting to quiet her racing thoughts. She is shocked to discover Jennifer there in her room, looking completely normal this time. Anita is baffled by this and has no idea what is going on. Before she can respond, Jennifer gives her an unexpected on-the-lip kiss with the intention of making her feel more at ease. In the wake of these occurrences, Jennifer makes a startling revelation. Low Shoulder, the band involved in the bar fire incident, had brought her to the same enigmatic waterfall and offered her as a virgin sacrifice to Satan in return for their fame and prosperity. She goes on to say that even if the sacrifice was successful, she did not actually perish since she was not a true virgin. Jennifer clarifies, nevertheless, that she was always possessed by Satan and never recovered her original state. She recalls waking up unhurt following the event despite being repeatedly stabbed by the band members. Then Jennifer admits that she felt really hungry as she made her way back home. She then consumed her first victim, an exchange student from a foreign country who was thought to have perished in the fire. Jennifer states something even more startling after detailing everything. She had intended to devour Anita that fateful night as well, but she changed her mind at the last minute since she was still in love with her closest friend. Jennifer continues by saying that after eating, she exerts more energy and can withstand almost any harm without feeling discomfort. She intentionally causes a huge wound in her hand to show this. But in a matter of seconds, it starts to mend itself. Anita begs Jennifer to leave after hearing the shocking truths, which overwhelm her. The latter agrees and leaps out of the window on the second story, which is around 13 feet above the ground. The following scene shows Anita starting to look into paranormal phenomena to find out more about the recent unpleasant happenings. She does this by visiting the cult section of the campus library and beginning to peruse materials about satanic virgin sacrifices and the occult. She ultimately discovers, after conducting much investigation, that her dearest friend is actually a succubus, a mythical creature who eats flesh. Only when these creatures are weak and hungry can they be exterminated. Anita then tells her boyfriend Chip about her research in the hopes of getting his support and understanding. Sadly, he denies her accusations and implies that she might require mental health treatment. Anita breaks up with her lover after having a startling insight as they are conversing. She understands that getting too close to him may put his life in jeopardy, and that's the only explanation. Not only that, but Anita prevents him from enrolling in the forthcoming college program as well. Chip, on the other hand, rudely ignores her advice and departs. Anita is eagerly anticipating Jennifer's arrival on the day of the college program since she is determined to keep a close check on her. Chip, who is en route to the program, gets stopped by Jennifer in the interim. She ingeniously fabricates a tale, claiming Anita was having an affair with Colin. She then guides him to an abandoned pool while employing the same persuasive techniques she had employed to murder her victims. When Jennifer doesn't show up for a while back to the program, Anita becomes more worried. She hurries to Chip's house to check on him when she can no longer stand it, and finds that he has already left for the program. Anita searches the neighborhood out of concern that something terrible has happened and soon finds the pool that has been abandoned, where she discovers Jennifer eating her lover alive. Anita is alarmed and immediately dives into the water to engage in combat with her best buddy. Jennifer is only enraged when Jennifer sprays pepper spray on her. Jennifer approaches Anita with vengeance in her eyes, ready to deliver the killing blow, but Chip, who is injured, musters up all of his remaining power and uses a pool skimmer to impale Jennifer. As a result, she loses a lot of blood and becomes feeble. Realizing that she is now exposed, she then flees the area. Anita reacts by rushing to her pet Chip and cradling him in her arms. Before he shuts his eyes and dies, they have a heartfelt chat. Anita, who is now devastated and enraged, gets ready to follow a road of retribution. She enters Jennifer's bedroom via the window in the middle of the same night and begins assaulting Jennifer. The two get into a physical altercation, but Jennifer eventually prevails by biting Anita on the shoulder. Despite this, our heroine doesn't give up and continues to battle valiantly. She eventually succeeds in removing a BFF necklace from Jennifer's neck, which causes her to briefly cease fighting. Anita seizes the chance to murder Jennifer once and for all by stabbing her in the heart with a utility knife. Jennifer's mother enters the room a short while later and is shocked to see Anita standing over her dead daughter's body. Anita wound up in the psychiatric hospital for this reason. The bite on her shoulder also reveals that she has inherited part of Jennifer's paranormal abilities. Anita uses her devilish abilities in the climactic showdown to escape the mental hospital. Following that, she hitches a ride while claiming to be a band member. Anita killed all the members of Low Shoulder in their hotel room, as shown in home movies and crime scene photographs in the credits sequence.